In a world ruled by emperors where gods walked on marble and might was law, a world where an arrogant belief born in a distant province was met with utter disdain. How could something so seemingly fragile bring down such a powerful empire? Today, we uncover the unlikely story of how Rome, the heart of paganism, became the birthplace of Christianity. And believe me, this is not the story you think you know. We are talking about the Roman Empire, a civilization that dominated the Mediterranean world for centuries. Its legions were invincible, its laws were ironclad, and its culture was deeply rooted in a pantheon of powerful gods: Jupiter, Mars, Venus, beings of immense power and often capricious moods. This was a society that valued strength, conquest, and civic duty, all in the name of the Roman state. Emperors, considered semi-divine, were the ultimate authority, both political and religious. In this seemingly unshakable world, a new faith began to spread from the fringes. Born in the small province of Judea, in the shadow of the empire, Christianity preached humility, compassion, and a single, invisible God. Ideas that on the surface seemed an absolute affront to the Roman way of life. It seemed like a David versus Goliath battle, except David had no sling. Jesus' first followers were a small and often persecuted group. His message resonated most strongly with the marginalized, the poor, the enslaved, those who felt excluded by Rome's rigid social hierarchy. Christianity offered hope, a sense of belonging, and a promise of equality in the eyes of God, a radical idea in the Roman world. It spread initially across the interconnected empire, along trade routes, and in the vibrant multicultural cities of the Mediterranean. Early Christians such as Paul of Tarsus traveled tirelessly, sharing their new faith. However, the Romans viewed this growing movement with suspicion, fear, and often outright hostility. They did not understand these people who refused to worship the emperor and who seemed to question the very foundations of their society. Persecutions broke out, and stories of martyrdom became part of the Christian narrative. Blood, it seemed, was the seed of the church. It was a long and brutal struggle, but these Christians, often underestimated, were not going anywhere. Their faith, fueled by their devotion, was proving surprisingly resilient. Everything changed with the rise of one man, the Emperor Constantine. Legend has it that on the eve of a crucial battle at the Milvian Bridge, he had a vision. A cross of light appeared in the sky, and he was told, in this sign, conquer. While the details can be debated, the impact of this vision was undeniable. Whether it was a genuine religious experience or political pragmatism, Constantine's embrace of Christianity was a watershed moment. The Edict of Milan, issued in 313 AD, officially granted religious toleration within the empire. Christians were now free to practice their faith openly. But that was not the end of the story. Constantine also convened the Council of Nicaea to resolve theological disputes within the rapidly growing Christian community, establishing what we now know as fundamental Christian doctrines. These councils and theological debates were critical steps in the transformation of a persecuted sect into a centralized, recognized, and powerful organization. The seeds of change, planted decades earlier by humble missionaries, were now bearing fruit, and bearing fruit on a scale no one could have imagined. What had begun as tolerated became favored, and what had been favored began to dominate. Over the next century, Christianity grew in influence. The practice of paganism was gradually curtailed, and Roman temples began to be transformed into Christian churches. Emperors who had once been considered divine now embraced Christianity, their power now legitimized by their connection to God. The world of Rome was being rebuilt, brick by brick, in the name of Christ. It was not an overnight transformation. There was resistance, there was compromise, But the trend was clear. By the end of the 4th century, Christianity was the official religion of the Roman Empire. The persecuted became the powerful. The small sect became the religion of the most formidable empire in the world. The conversion of Rome was a monumental event in human history, and like all monumental events, it left a profound legacy. The spread of Christianity led to the building of magnificent cathedrals, the development of profound theological ideas, and the rise of institutions such as the Catholic Church. But the transition was not without its dark side. The suppression of other religions, forced conversions, and internal conflicts. So how did a marginal religion born in a distant corner of the empire come to dominate the heart of Rome? It's a question that continues to tantalize historians and theologians. The story of Rome's conversion to Christianity is one of resistance, faith, political maneuvering, and unexpected twists and turns. It challenges our assumptions about power and belief. What do you think about the reasons behind this radical change? What lessons can we learn from it? Let us know what you think in the comments.